Hi, in this presentation, we're presenting milestone one findings for our project, Toxic Comments Classifier by Mohamed Hashish and I, Sherif Wessa. So these are the contents of our presentation. We'll first start by giving a brief definition of the problem, and then we will talk about some of the important related work tackling toxic comments classification and the baseline model that we chose. And then we will discuss the proposed updates, and finally we'll go through the timeline throughout the project milestones and the detailed member contribution. So first, the problem statement. So toxic comments include a wide range of harmful content, including abusive language, threats, and offensive remarks that's meant to harass or threaten people. This issue has led to the discouragement of many individuals from openly and freely share their opinions because of the fear of receiving harmful or hate comments that negatively affects their mental and emotional health. Therefore, our main challenge in this project is the effective classification and detection of toxic comments on social media and online platforms, achieving high classification accuracy. So these are some charts that supports our problem. The first one shows the rate of toxicity on social media platforms, and the other one shows the number of occurrences of each class on the data set that we tested on. There are six labels. First off is the identity hate, insult, threat, obscene, severe toxic, and toxic. And these are the number of occurrences by each comment. Then we'll talk about the related work and baseline model. So we gathered three important approaches tackling toxic comments classification. First of which is the regression vector voting classifier, the RVVC. The dataset used in this approach was a multi-label dataset that contains labels such as toxic, severe toxic, insult, threat, identity hate. And the values of the datasets was given as binary values for each label. In this approach, they combined two models, which are the logistic regression and the SVC, which is a support vector classifier, to get the RVVC ensemble model with higher accuracy that reached 97% when it was used with the TF-IDF, which is the TF-IDF is a statistical method for NLP techniques that is used to determine the number of times or the how many relevant words are in corpus. However, the disadvantage of this ensemble is that it has very high computational complexity. The second approach is implementing convolutional neural networks with word embedding techniques. In this approach, the comments was first classified as positive or negative, or toxic and non-toxic, and then it was classified into the six labels. It used Wikipedia talk page edits as a dataset from Kaggle and structured the CNN model as it starts with data cleaning, adopting the NLP technique, stemming, and converting word into vector by word embedding techniques. And the accuracy in this model used the ROC. The ROC score was 98.46%, and the AUC score is 98.05. Another technique for toxic comments classification, which combined RNNs, recurrent neural networks, with long short-term memory, the LSTM. The LSTM is designed to solve some of the drawbacks of the long-term, which is the long-term dependency problem of RNNs, to form a new ensemble model. This technique compared the three state-of-the-art word embedding models, which are Mikhailov's word embedding, fast text subword embedding, BERT word piece, and used the Wikipedia detox corpus as a dataset. All the models were compared against the BERT fine-tuning, and experiments showed that it was the most efficient for automatic toxic classification task. And these are some of the workflows and architectures of some of the approaches that we just discussed. Then Hashish will take on discussing the baseline model.
So now I'll talk about the baseline model. I'll start by talking about the problems that face us while running the model. First, in the model, you use some old libraries. So some methods and function names changed. So we had to conduct small research to find out the latest libraries with the latest function names to make sure the model works. So as for the techniques used by the baseline model, it starts by counting and classifying the comments, and it classifies each comment to one of the classes, toxicity classes. We have 6 different classes. And then it cleans the data by removing any non-needed characters or patterns from the tokens or words. It even removes the punctuation, some of the punctuation. And then it assigns weight to each class. And the rarer the class is, the more weight it has. As for the models, the baseline model has 2 different models, which are defined using the pipeline method. And it's a method that is used to automate the workflow of a machine learning model. And it has the steps needed for any model, such as data preprocessing, model training, or evaluation. Both model had the TF-IDF vectorization, which is a useful technique in NLP, which converts the text into numerical features to determine the importance of each token or word given a specific context. يعني. The first model uses the ridge regression type, while the second one uses the random forest regression, and both are trained with the same dataset. As for the accuracy rates of these models, after running the whole notebook, both models 1 and 2 independently had an accuracy of 68%. And then the model combines the results of both models, and the accuracy became 69%. And I believe this is a good percentage, but it can be improved. يعني. And this is a screenshot showing the accuracy rate of each of the 2 models. So as for the proposed updates, after some discussions between me and Sharif and the deep analysis of the code, we come up with 2 different approaches. Each one will take an approach, and then we'll compare the results. Approach A, which is fine-tuning the hyperparameters in the baseline model. We change, for example, the alpha. We will change the existing hyperparameters in the 2 models and collect the results to see how the accuracy changes. And then as for the approach B, now we will try to modify the models and try different combinations of regression methods, as well as different combination of their hyperparameters. We will also use other methods of data standardization, which could improve the accuracy, and we'll collect the results. And then we'll compare the results of both approaches, A and B, and whichever is better, we will choose it and we will stick to this approach. Since يعني إن إحنا we're depending on trial and error يعني. And if possible, we'll try to fine tune the model and improve its accuracy and train it with new data sets. And as I mentioned before, we will stick to whichever option that gives us better accuracy. As for the timeline, this is the proposed timeline. We finished milestone 1. Milestone 2 will apply what the 2 different approaches that we've talked about, and we'll choose the optimal solution. And as for the milestone, the final milestone, we'll finalize the project. We'll compare the latest architecture that we've came up with versus the first initial architecture of the baseline model, and do the comparison. This is the member contribution, each team member contribution. These are the references, and thank you.